many more people that contribute to the fabric of this local area, particularly in helping those most vulnerable in the community. And as Freya said, my portfolio area stretches from communities, which takes women, youth, domestic and family violence, seniors and a range of others, child safety and disability services. So I feel very privileged that the portfolio that the Premier gave to me on coming into government means that I have the opportunity to work with people to make a difference in people's lives. And the Premier often talks about when he wakes up, the first thing he thinks about is how can he supercharge the economy, get things going so that business is vibrant, that tourism is is working with more people here, that our agricultural sector is motoring along. But more than that, that a strong economy means that there is more money to invest in the areas where we need to, and that's certainly in the community services area. So when I wake up in the morning, I don't quite think about supercharging the economy, but I do wake up and think, how can I make a difference in someone's life today? And I can't do that by myself. And so for the many people that are sitting here in this room that I have met and seen the great work that is being done in this local area to support our vulnerable Queenslanders, thank you, because I really think together we can make a really big difference in the lives of so many. Tony, thank you very much for your 5-minute speech. I came without a speech, so I have to stretch mine to 5. I don't think that would be a problem for me at all. Thank you for sharing your story, and you're quite right. The accidents that occurred that led to spinal cord injuries, sadly, is growing. People making silly decisions, whether it's diving into a shallow pool or being in a circumstance that you found yourself in, sadly is a reality on a daily basis here in this country. And I'm really pleased that we were able to put some funding to the Spinal Injuries Association. It's around about $26 million to help, I think it's around 110 people thereabouts, Catherine, to transition out of the Princess Alexandra Hospital so that their homes can be modified, because we don't want people in hospital when they can be home and interacting both at a family level and community level. So we are certainly cognizant of the fact that that is an area, but as Tony quite rightly said, there's always supporting needs, and if people feel so inclined to support, then please fill out that form. But one of the very great challenges ahead is preparing Queensland for the rollout of the NDIS, and most of you would have heard of the National Disability Insurance Scheme. It is the biggest single talking point in disability as we move towards 2019, where across the nation everybody will be on board. And what the National Disability Insurance Scheme looks to provide are the reasonable and necessary supports that people with a disability need support with. And unfortunately, the reality is right across the country, and of course including Queensland, is that the disability sector for so long has been chronically underfunded. Queensland, per capita, per person with a disability that has been assessed through the department, in fact sits fairly high, but the number of people that are able to access support services is actually sadly quite low. And even though we have continued to inject funding into this area, in fact $868 million in the lead up to 2019 when the NDIS will roll out in Queensland, we know that even more is required. But it's not always just about money, it's about community coming together and providing informal networks and supports for families of people with disability. I had the opportunity to speak to Jenny, who's the, where are you, Jenny? I've got my glasses on. Jenny, who is the principal of the Currabee Special School. Actually, Jenny lives in my electorate, and I think Chris, who runs the special school at Astley, is from down here, so I don't know how that works out terribly well with Jenny. But we were talking about young people who are finishing grade 12, who require extra support, whether it's through special schools or they through the special ed units in mainstream schools. That oftentimes, if there's not a funding package or not a significant enough funding package when they exit school, then mum and dad, or sometimes both, might have to give up work in order to support, because they might not have those informal supports around community to assist them with providing the reasonable and clearly necessary supporting framework around so that they can A, continue working, but B, have their family members safe at home. So there are many challenges around preparing for an NDIS, and having the conversation for me with families, and particularly people with a disability, is one of the great privileges, I guess, of this job. You know, people sharing their personal stories, their aspirations about how they can live a dignified life, have an accessible life, and have a connected life. You know, is really important, and I think as a community we have to understand that the NDIS is not going to be the panacea. Just paying a little more in tax and going, well, people with a disability, well, they're looked after, is just not good enough. We as a community have to come behind and help families and people with a disability in order to live the life that they aspire to, just as we aspire to one. And Emma, amazing young woman, 27 years old, clearly passionate about helping, you know, vulnerable young people. I'm not jumping out of a plane, Emma. I don't care about pre-selection. But that is fantastic, and to help, you know, to see young people getting involved and wanting to make a difference for vulnerable people is really heartening, because those numbers are not getting lower, they're sadly getting greater. And even here, as you said, Emma, you know, we live in a community in Australia that, compared to the rest of the world, is so superior in terms of the services that we receive and the support. But there are pockets around this country where poverty is rife, and I don't know if many of you have been to some of the discrete Indigenous communities around the state, but I think it's fantastic that you're doing this work for those on the Cape, because instances of sexual assault and domestic and family violence in those particular areas are way above the national average, and to support these women to escape that sort of servitude is just fantastic. So thank you for everything that you're doing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I really don't want to talk too much longer. I selfishly like to have one-on-one or group interactions, because I learn a lot, and I think as a politician, when you are charged with developing policy to move forward, that be based on what you're hearing from on the ground. I think it makes a better policy. It certainly makes it a lot easier for me to understand the challenges that people face as they deal with their disability or their interaction with child safety, and that's a story for a whole other another day. But as we move forward, particularly in that space, we just want to see less children in out-of-home care. We want to see families strengthened, I think, with a strong family base, and that could look different for different people. But if we are able to support families, empower them to build capacity, then I think that is a good basis for a good and humane society. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for having me. Freya, thank you for everything you do. Thank you so much for allowing me to come down. I'm looking forward to visiting a few more places after here.
Both for the whole morning.
Chat. So thank you once again for everything that you do, and to the small business people that are here. Been there, I know what it's like. It's a challenge at the moment. It's not only about business making money and being successful. There's a whole lot of emotional attachment to being a small business owner, and so thank you for everything that you do. Small business is the engine room of our economy, and I appreciate that everything that you're doing in order to get things motoring so that we can help people that are most vulnerable in the community. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Tracy. I'm sorry I missed it.